What's up, everyone? Cyclops from Paramount Cyclops here. I say many a times, stories have multiple sides sometimes. And something can be both a good idea and a bad idea at the same time. So in this one, I'm going to give you both sides because I can see the good in this and I can see the bad in this. I can definitely see this being abused in the future. So from the Daily Mail, let's read this. But before we get into it, I sincerely hope that I have informed you in some way, shape, or form in this video. And if I have, a like, a comment, a subscribe would be awesome. So let's get into this. Seattle City Council considers new poverty defense to excuse misdemeanor crimes such as theft and assault if culprit is homeless, addicted to drugs, or has mental health issues. So we're going to go through this one slowly, and I'll break it apart and give the pros and cons. I will do a for and against. So, right off the bat, a poverty defense, the for. Okay, I can see it. You're struggling for survival. You need to eat. You need to drink. You have a family that you have to supply for. I got it. Times are rough. You've got to be able to go out and do things and get food. Well, what do you do in a time like this with a pandemic and your job's closed and there's no COVID relief in sight? What do you do? I know, I get it, the desperation. It's a good intention. On the flip side, we all know what the road to destruction is paved with. It's paved with good intentions. While their intentions are good, this can definitely be abused. And the part that gets me that really says wait is assault. Assault? At what time is assault okay? At what time do we excuse assault? At what time do we say, well, one class of people is allowed to get away with a certain group of laws, but another class of people must obey the same laws? That is not equal application of the law. And then the other part, addicted to drugs or has mental health issues. So if an individual commits a misdemeanor, you're telling me that there's not one individual out there who's going to abuse the system and say, no, I'm addicted to drugs, even though maybe perhaps they're not. Human beings. We know human beings are human beings. So, okay. Let's read this. First, let me make it bigger for you guys. And for me. There we go. Seattle City Council is considering a new criminal code regulation that would see it become the first municipality in the U.S. to excuse misdemeanor crimes if they can be linked to poverty, addiction, or mental health disorders. The concept, known as the Poverty Defense, was discussed Tuesday by the Seattle City Council's Public Safety Committee after it was introduced by Councilmember Lisa Herbold and Anita Khandelwal. Forgive me if I mispronounce that. The King County's director of the Department of Public Defense. Okay, so we have a defense attorney who generally only looks at ways and life and means from the glasses of a public defense attorney. How can they get their client off? How can they get a lesser sentence? But where is the counter argument? Where are the people saying, wait, is this a good idea? I understand on paper, it sounds great. We don't want to punish those who are so poor. They're only trying to survive. I understand. I have been there. I have lived that life. I was homeless. I ate out of dumpsters, but I never stole from a store. I never committed assault because I was homeless. What excuse do you have to commit assault if you're homeless? Assault is assault is assault. How can we say that one class of people is allowed to do it, but yet another class cannot? We're just creating a bigger poverty line, a bigger divide between rich and poor. So now individuals who are rich are going to look at it and say, wait a second. So this homeless person over here can come over and assault me and get away with it because of their class. That doesn't make sense either. There's good and bad to this, and it's both a good idea on paper and a bad idea in practice. We must maintain equal application of the law. Otherwise, the law is meaningless. Either everybody obeys a law or nobody obeys a law. We cannot have class systems where certain people have certain laws and certain people have other laws. And I know people are screaming at their TV at me right now, but Cyclops, we already have that. There are rules for the rich and rules for the poor. I agree. But those are rules for the rich and rules for the poor. They are actually talking about bona fide changing the law itself to absolve individuals under a certain income level of crimes. I have been the person that's the lowest of the low. You could not get lower than I was. Homeless, eating out of dumpsters, sleeping under a bush in the rain, running up and down an alleyway in the middle of winter to try to stay warm. I gotcha. I've been there, but I never committed a crime like that. Trespassing? Absolutely. It's hard to not trespass when you're homeless, because everybody trespasses you when you're homeless. But I never stole from a store. I never committed assault. Being homeless didn't give me an excuse to be an ass. Under the defense, an accused suspect could possibly be absolved of a crime, such as theft, assault, or trespassing. The trespassing part, I kind of agree with, because there's times when you sleep on a bench. It's cold. There's a bench, man. I'm just so tired. I'm just so cold. I just need to sit. I just need to lay down. I need something. You're not committing a offense that hurts anybody. If you commit theft, you are committing damages to someone. Someone is not getting paid for a product that they paid for, that they are putting up on display in exchange for monetary return, not for other people to grab. You can't possibly say theft is a victimless crime. In a situation where you took that sandwich because you were hungry and you were trying to meet your basic need of satisfying your hunger, we, as the community, will know that we should not punish that. That conduct is excused, Kendall Wall said, according to KOMO. It sounds great. I don't want poor people to be punished for having to get food. I don't think poor people should be punished for trying to survive. I agree with that sentiment. But absolving them of a crime is not the answer. You must come up with something else. Every solution, I don't know how many times I got to say it, every solution has its own set of problems. Every time you come up with a solution for a problem, you've got to realize that that solution has a different set of problems that you're going to have to overcome. This is a solution to keep homeless people from being criminalized for being homeless, essentially. I feel you. But you still can't change the laws. You can't have laws for thee, but not for me. You can't. We can't go down that road. We can't. The proposal, however, excludes misdemeanors related to domestic violence and impaired driving. Well, thank God for small miracles, I guess. Candlewall also suggested the creation of a public fund for restitution to compensate theft victims, even if the offender cannot pay them. So a public fund. So now you are telling me that our taxpayer dollars are going to go to pay for people who steal things. So why do I even try? Why am I even going to get a job? Why do I even work? Why do I bother making money? If all I got to do is be poor enough that I'm excused of my crimes, I'm absolved of my crimes, what am I going to work for? If I can go to the supermarket and I can just claim, hey, I'm poor, and just walk in the supermarket and say, I'm going to take this and this and this and this, and I'm poor, so go take the money from the public taxpayer fund for theft. What would stop me from doing that? What's the incentive to work? What's the incentive to obey the law if, hey, wait, he can do it, and there's a fund to pay for food for him? What about people that are just a couple dollars over the poverty line, or whatever their limit is? Let's say their limit is, if you make under $10,000 a year, you can steal food all you want and the public fund will pay for it. Okay, now you've got a couple. They make $15,000 a year. They don't qualify for that. But some sort of medical expense happens. It costs them $4,000 a year, $5,000 a year, $6,000 a year, whatever. All of a sudden now they're down to a point where they're making over that amount, but now they got health care bills that make it so they don't actually have that. They have less than that. Do they qualify? What about people who are very rich, but they're very in debt, and their outpay is more than what their income is? Their debts are more than what their income is. On paper, shouldn't they qualify as well? Do you see the issues here? And I'm trying to give you all sides and give you the information and let you decide whether this is a good idea or not. But there are good and bad to it. I love the sentiment. I love it. I do. I've lived that lifestyle. I wish there was more of the sentiment. I was tired of being the gray man, the man that people ignored, the man that you could say something, I was like, did you even hear me? And people would just walk on by. I've been there. I've been there. But that doesn't excuse one from their bad actions or breaking the law. It's like that story a couple days ago. A woman was trying to get reparations for her mother because her mother had sold marijuana in a time when marijuana was illegal. Well, I'm sorry, I get you. It's getting on the verge of legal now, but the law is proactive, not retroactive. If you broke the law when it was illegal, you still broke the law knowingly and willingly breaking the law. I got you. You're trying to feed yourself and your family. I know. But it's still no excuse. You get caught, you should pay the consequences. Just like everybody else. We can't have more of a divide. And now I'll end it with a pro for the poverty defense. It's a wonderful idea. It's an altruistic idea. And it would work wonderfully in an altruistic society. But being the bearer of bad news that I am, we don't live in an altruistic society. There are going to be people who abuse it and use it, and there are going to be bad things about it. But I still love the sentiment. Let me know what you guys think. I love you guys, and I will see you on the next one.